Doesn't your friend do it?
He hasn't done it for years, but yeah, he used to.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. All okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go.
Nice. Okay. Sorry, just need a minute. Who am I?
Can't remember what I'm supposed to be saying, but hey.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Hi, I'm Danielle Collier and welcome to the debut episode of By the Furnace with Collier Webb, where I'll be meeting with designers and makers to get insights into the industry. And today I'm joined with Adam, pattern maker at Collier Webb. So Adam, can you share with us a bit about your journey into pattern making?
Well, I suppose it originally all started when I was about 4 years old. My mother was training to be an art teacher. I used to go to the nursery creche there and she used to drop me off, and I used to escape to the pottery room and discovered a passion for sculpting and making things in that
And
form.
what kind of things would you make?
I made a little man. I remember making a man.
So it started from a young age.
Very young age, yes.
And then how did it develop?
Well, once I discovered that passion, I never stopped making. I just continued pretty much doing it every day, you know, as many days as possible I could actually do it. All through school, not so much infants, but through junior school, pretty much did it every day, and senior school did it every day. I was in the pottery room at lunchtimes, you know, every day.
Every chance you could get.
Every chance, so.
And then you opened a shop?
Yeah, I had a shop in Eastbourne Town Centre and did that for a few years, but not very successfully because it was the business side of things I was not so good at. I just wanted to make things. So,
More creative?
Yeah. So,
okay. And what, obviously pivoting towards Collier Webb now, what's the process like for you at the beginning stages of a project with the pattern making?
Plenty of communication with our designers.
Yeah.
Who are then communicating with the client. So it's then getting across the information that I need and the sort of what they envisage.
Yeah.
So.
Because a lot of the time you'll get sort of a blurry image or a rough sketch.
Yeah, I get a little photocopy of, say, I want this made, and I'm going, what is it?
How can I make it?
So that's where the communication comes in, and it's so, you know,
Yeah.
it's a lot of.
Can you tell us about one of your favourite projects that you've worked on?
I would say the lady lamp I did, which started off originally as a 1930s Art Deco, quite a traditional Art Deco style lamp, but the client wanted a larger version of it, so I replicated a larger version, you know, pretty exact. Then they changed their mind and they wanted it more abstract, so I ended up taking a knife to it and making it abstract, so it became more of a 1950s style, opposed to a 1920s, 30s Art Deco style, which worked well.
So did the clients come to the foundry to visit you with that project? Or
no, it was all communication between our design department and them communicating with the client. So, you know, the client getting their sort of vision across and then transposing it across to me. So.
And what's a typical day in the life of a pattern maker?
A typical day in the life of a pattern maker. If I'm typically making patterns, it's play with my grown-up plasticine. I call it clay, but it's plasticine, it's not.
But you work with so many different materials as well, and you're creating patterns for casting or machining or different sort of processes.
Yeah, I use many materials. Sometimes it may involve making a clay pattern.
Yeah.
And if the style requires a lot of fine sort of detail or areas that are very sort of sharp, I'll take a mould of the clay version and I'll do a resin of it, which I can then carve, and you can get much finer detail with it.
Yeah.
So enhancing detail.
And what advice would you give to up-and-coming pattern makers?
Persevere. It's a difficult area to get into, but if that's what you want to do, there are areas that you can get into it. Passion, because it is an art form.
Yeah.
So you need a lot of passion for what you're doing.
And I guess we were talking earlier about putting your vision aside in a way when you're working with clients that have their ideas for the design.
Yes, I would say that was probably one of my hardest things to get my head around, was putting aside your own style, because any creative form has a style to it, and you create your own style. So it was putting that aside and learning to do other styles.
Yeah.
Sort
and
of
work
what
with
the
someone
client
else
wanted, or doing existing styles, like Art Deco, Victorian, 1950s, abstract, for example.
Yeah.
It's getting that passion working into those areas that you're not necessarily passionate about, or designs or styles.
Yeah. How has pattern making developed over the years?
There's areas of technology that's come into it, from the beginning when you'd be making something from clay or wax. A lot of the patterns I do now sort of involve 3D printing.
Yeah.
So I might ask for a base to be 3D printed, or a basic form which I can then build on and detail. And it saves a lot of time in creating the whole thing.
So you're applying the texture to it?
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah. So a question that I'll be asking everyone at the end of these interviews is, if you could go back to your younger self and give yourself advice within the industry, what would it be?
I would have tried to have got into it sooner.
Younger than 4?
Not younger than 4. I had a long sort of gap between the pottery and coming to Collier Webb. So I was a carpenter for a long time. Went into the
so you wish
building
you'd
trade.
stuck at the pattern making?
Yeah, if I'd known that it was available, or there was things that did that, I would have got into that side of it sooner.
But do you think it probably helped you in a way, the carpentry?
To a degree, because it was still making and constructing things using different materials.
Yeah.
So, which in some places, some areas, I do apply here. So, carpentry skills, there's been occasions when I've had to make large armatures and stuff. So, woodwork side of things has come into that.
Okay. Nice. Thank you very much, Adam.